Hey everyone, it's time to Eat the Magic Escapade Edition. This is the podcast where we talk about some of our adventures at various theme parks, and this week we are going to be talking about Lunar New Year at Disney California Adventure. With me is Eri Kagami, who went as part of our team to Lunar New Year this year, and it was a lot of fun.
And with me is Jared the Greek, who
People know who I am. I'm the host of the show.
This is true, but it's always nice to introduce yourself in case if we have any first-time listeners. It could be anyone's first show.
We're going with the Stanley comic book rule.
Why not?
Could be someone's first. All right. Yes, I am Jared the Greek. I'm the host of the main Eat the Magic show. And like I said, we are going to be talking about Disney California Adventure Lunar New Year, Year of the Mouse, which I thought was clever instead of Year of the Rat, because we have two mouse mascots over there at Disney, Mickey and Minnie.
And it was really cool because I ended up picking up the Year of the Mouse ears. Luckily, you suggested that we just, because when we went like during like the early part of the morning, did breakfast over Jolly Holiday, and a friend and I were thinking about getting our Lunar New Year ears, and you had suggested, like, you know, we could just go there a little bit early, about half an hour before everything opens up, just so we can just get the ears and just get that out of the way. Thankfully, you had made that suggestion to us because we were the first people to get those ears, and by the time an hour had passed, those ears were gone. The Lunar New Year ears, like, just went out just like that.
And here's the thing. When it comes to certain merch, you know you have a little bit of a window. When it comes to new and limited edition ears, those things go like that. I'm not an ear person, really. I have one set that was custom for a Kingdom Hearts themed ear set. And other than that, I don't really collect these, but I know people who do, and those things just disappear.
I'm not really much of an ear person, but what really called to me was the design and the aesthetics. And I like the fact that the Disney parks are celebrating Lunar New Year, and I want to keep supporting this with my dollar. So, like, okay, I'll just grab like a set of ears, and they're pretty. They have like butterflies on them, and they kind of like speak to Far East Asian aesthetics. Like, oh, I like this, I'll support it. And, like, yeah, it just really called to me, and I could use it for, like, bounds like for Mulan, or when my rule breaker bounds for Demon Slayer.
In addition to ears, they also had a few different shirts that looked kind of nice for those of you who are shirt people.
Or if you're into Spirit jerseys, they had the red and gold Spirit jersey, which look aesthetically pleasing. I'm not a Spirit jersey person, but I was like looking at the different designs that they have, and I did see a lot of people at DCA that day when we went wearing the Lunar New Year Spirit jersey, and we've been seeing a lot of folks wearing the Mandalorian Spirit jersey with the child at the front.
That's been very popular, yeah.
Like, I swear, it's like, you know, at Comic Cons, you always see Harley Quinn. The Mandalorian Spirit jerseys are the Harley Quinn cosplay of Disney fashion at the Disney parks.
But it was nice to see some people wearing the Lunar New Year one. I know those don't disappear quite as fast as, say, the ears.
And plus they're on the pricier side, so you're like looking at like $70 retail price before your annual pass discount.
So if you are going to grab it, make sure that that's going to be part of your Disney apparel for a while. And that's always my kind of, don't buy it for just, I'll wear it for just today and then shove it in a closet somewhere. You got to make sure to get some use out of that. And I think that really helps with things like just the standard ones they have, the rose pink,
rose gold,
and
millennial pink.
See, there's too many of these colors. And then I know they have the blue one, too, the whatever they call it.
Arendelle Aqua.
Arendelle Aqua, thank you. And I know those ones, you can always buy those. But there's people who, that's their uniform. You know, a Spirit jersey is their uniform. I haven't found one that really speaks to me. I'm just going to say that right now.
Yeah, you're not really a Spirit jersey person.
I could do it for certain kind of bounds, though. I think it could work. I just need one that really works for me. And I haven't seen one that makes me go, oh, that one.
Well, Jay, there's Bella the Bronze, there's that upcoming Ariel Coral pink.
Oh, I look so good in pink. Oh my god.
Pink is a very manly color, just ask the folks over at Dragon Ball.
Yeah. I could go for the right kind of purple. Or burgundy.
They actually did have a purple color called Poison Purple released last year, but it was one of those colors that came and went because I know a friend of ours was really gaga about the purple color. And originally they were supposed to do like all these purple themed food and drink, and I was looking forward to that. And I was kind of like just kind of side-eyeing at the same time too, like, wait, you're doing this purple shtick during the same time as Boysenberry Festival over at Knott's.
Yeah, odd how that works. Like I said, I would like something that could then go into bounding for me, because I'm not just going to wear it just to wear it. But if I got one that worked for a certain character, I think I would really... I could see that as a variation. Like I said, if they did one that was like gold with like, say, black lettering or something like that, I mean, that's an insta-Gil for me. So, Gilgamesh from Fate, people.
We're anime nerds.
We're anime nerds. But I would totally, do a... I've already made jokes about Disney Gil, or potentially something that would work for a Gundam character that could be amusing, as that's been a running joke within our circle too, with Gundam and Star Wars. But that's not what we're here to talk about. I was going to try to go through some of the other merch, and so getting distracted about Spirit jerseys.
Sure, but everyone loves Spirit jerseys. So one of the other things they've been doing a while is the little red envelopes. And part of the culture with Lunar New Year is like you give red envelopes to your friends and family, and you put the $2 bill inside there. And you just give it, and you just kind of pass it around.
So you can actually pick up those. I don't think they come with anything inside, right?
No, they don't take any side. Like, to get the $2 bills, you're on your own for that. You go to the bank for that.
Yeah, but you can actually get the envelopes if you want them. In addition to that, they have those lanterns, which look pretty nice, actually.
Yeah, I like those lanterns, too. We don't really have a lot of room in our house, but, like, should we ever get, like, some sort of, like, nice office space in a theoretical house of the future, I would like to have it all Disney decked out.
You would.
But a Haunted Mansion aesthetic, or Terra aesthetic, or a sea aesthetic. Society of Explorers and Adventurers.
Yeah, that could be fun. More of that merch is East Coast, though. That's not easy merch to get a hold of out here for us West Coasters. But yeah, the merchandise is pretty good. Most of it doesn't sell out outside of those years. I think everything else is... I mean, by now, who knows? But I'm sure they restock often enough where it shouldn't be that big a deal.
Also, the other thing I like was they were also selling all these custom sketches of Mulan and other various rat mouse themed characters. Like, they were just selling these individual sketches. And like, I would have liked to own one, but I don't like the idea of just carrying around a sketch with me the entire time at Disney. And plus, I had my smaller purse with me, and I just couldn't mentally justify just storing that in a locker for about $7 for the day. It's like, I could always usually find these sketches over at Wonderground over in downtown Disney. But those are really beautiful sketches, and our friend was just pointing out, like, oh, you should get this, this, and this. Like, yes, I would love to. Again, in my theoretical home of the future where I have an office, I'd like to have some Mulan prints up there, too, because Mulan is my homegirl. Also, I got one of the Year of the Mouse AP exclusive pins. I'm also a pin collector, too, but I don't just get any pin. I feel like the pin has to call to me, so it has to be something special to me for me to pick up. Like, example, when they had the Kingdom Hearts pins, like, okay, I need that in my life, because Disney and Kingdom Hearts merch, I'm always all about that, especially seeing more Kingdom Hearts merch in the parks, because that makes me very happy. And I picked up the Year of the Mouse pin because, like, that's my year, and I just like collecting a lot of these exclusive pins.
Yeah, it's nice that they have those. Those will also sell out. I'm just warning anyone now. If you're going to do your merch shopping, do it early. Grab your ears, grab your pins. If it's anything else, you can basically get it on your way out of the park. You want one of those sketches, unless you're planning on wearing the shirts or something. Then yeah, get them early. But outside of wearing the shirt or the Spirit jersey, most of the larger merch, the lanterns, the sketches, things like that, you should just grab those once you're done doing your adventures in California Adventure.
And just so you know, they're all concentrated in one place at this one kiosk, so it's not like you can like exit out California Adventure and pick up the merch on the way out. You would have to get it at this special kiosk that's like kind of, it was a little bit right close by to Voyage of the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, it's near it, and right near where they do all the food booths, which we will get to.
All right, so I think that covers merch.
I think so. One of the special things they do out here is we have a parade. It's like
a Lunar New Year procession. It's not so much a parade. So basically, you have like the Fab Five, Mulan, they just kind of like just do like this march right to that staged area of it's not really Pixar Pier, but it's like World of Colors seating area, and they kind of have like the little Espelon type of thing. So they march from
proper name for that area is.
So they march from the Plaza Garden and do a procession right into that area, and they kind of do all these dances, and they celebrate the different cultures that celebrate Lunar New Year. If you notice, we don't call it Chinese New Year on our show, or the parks don't call it Chinese New Year because different countries have their own flavor of celebrating Lunar New Year. So they acknowledge the Chinese, Vietnamese, and Korea. And also, fun fact, you can look this up yourself, the Korean and Vietnamese calendars also have different animals. I believe one of them has Year of the Cat.
They do.
So it was really cool. We got a really good viewing spot for it. Like, we're not really show people, but if it's like if it's like a seasonal thing, we'll check it out. And it was just kind of just really nice to see all the dancers, just kind of see like this flow of culture just coming in. Because I remember when the most acknowledgement that the Disney parks did for Lunar New Year was just kind of like this sign like in Main Street, like Happy Lunar New Year, and they would have it up for a few days, and that was it. But it's very nice to see like Lunar New Year just really grow at DCA, and I really feel like DCA is like now like the spot for like food and cultural type events, because it does kind of have that space to host those types of events.
Yeah, in the parade, it's really nice. You get to see, Mickey, Minnie, Goofy.
And they have, like, Lunar New Year variations.
The ducks are missing, strangely enough.
Yeah, what happened to Donald? Where's he at? I heard he's showing up for dinner.
Yeah, check out the memes. The memes will answer that one. But Minnie, Mickey, and Goofy all have these unique outfits for this, which are really, Asian-inspired. The dancers and the parade marchers are great. You're twirling around the little sticks with little ribbons on it. They had a dragon eventually, which was unexpected. I was like, oh my god, they're doing a dragon.
And they also had the lion dance too.
Yeah. So it's a pretty good, well done little thing. I mean, it's not as going to be as spectacular if you're in, say, Chinatown or something like that, but still pretty a little, nice job done for, an event that's just a limited time event and getting everyone out there doing their thing. And of course, Mulan and Mushu are there, of course, too, as they are essentially the stars of the Lunar New Year kind of thing, because they are Disney's token Chinese characters.
Anywho, so just moving on to, let's talk about character meet and greets.
Speaking of Mulan and Mushu, that was fun. We got to do it with our group, and like always, I was hyper awkward with the characters, which.
And we were also bounding for Mulan, so our friend Cherry's Crystals, she was bounding as Mushu. I was bounding as Ping, Mulan's disguise when she's with the Chinese army. And you, the night before, you finally watched Mulan, the movie, outside of playing Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I only know the characters from Kingdom Hearts. So even before watching the movie, I was like, I'll go as Fat Soldier. Didn't even know his name. I just know that there's a fat soldier amongst the comedy relief soldier guys.
And he likes food, and that's relatable to you.
There's short guy, fat guy, and skinny guy. And I was like, I'll go as fat guy.
And then there's different characters you can meet at the meet and greet. There's Mickey and Minnie. We happen to get Mulan and Mushu, and there's also the ever elusive Three Little Pigs in their Lunar New Year variants. And you might ask yourself, why are the Three Little Pigs here? And like,
last year?
Yeah, last year, because the way how Lunar New Year works is sometimes you need to just transition from the previous year, Year of the Pig, to the upcoming year.
Yeah. So the Three Little Pigs were the mascot, or whatever you want to call it, for last year's thing, and so they trotted them out for probably a couple of weeks.
Yeah, they're still part of the
part of it?
Yeah, they're still part of it, but it's just kind of, it's very elusive to catch them. So think of like character like meet and greets as kind of like rare Pokemon.
They really do get like that. I was glad, a couple of weeks ago we had the chance to get the Three Caballeros. That was great. I was also awkward with them, which was sad because I was like so excited in line, and as soon as I'm standing next to the characters, I'm like, hi. it's people, there should be video of me interacting with characters, because it's just, if you want to like laugh at me for some reason, that's the videos.
There actually is a video of you interacting with Disney princesses last time we went to the Royal Hall.
No.
It was part of your Kingdom Hearts retrospective. No.
Yes, it's me super awkward with the princesses. It's wonderful. So with Mushu and Mulan, I'm like, it's like doing the little eye thing, and you and our friend were basically like, oh my god, da, 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 look at my.
No, I love
merch,
Mushu. Like I was making
Mushu,
say
high fives.
for Disney Eddie Murphy jokes from Raw, because I had to explain to our friend the I had McDonald's and you don't got any joke from Eddie. I forgot what was Raw or Delirious.
That is Delirious, where he does the
I got McDonald's
and you don't got
none.
it. Yeah. Which also he does, because he says the kids always do that, and he did the, and I heard the kid, because I think it begins with him talking about a kid doing that with ice cream.
Mm.
And his is like, but we were always doing that, man. Didn't matter what it was.
And in line, I was doing the Eddie Murphy laugh from SNL and Beverly Hills Cop, like the and then our friend was asking us if she's like a lot younger than us. She was like, "Where's that laugh from?" I'm like, "Oh, let me tell you about Beverly Hills Cop."
Yeah. It's those little moments where you feel old. It's up there with that line from a Splinter Cell game. You're trying to talk about Wi-Fi to a man who grew up at the age of hi-fi, and the character goes, "What's hi-fi?" And his only response is, "God, I feel old."
The John Cusack movie?
It is high fidelity is a term for audio recording quality, and you would be on certain types of stereos, yes. Which is where the title comes from for the book, which then became the John Cusack movie, / British stage production, which it's a British book, so that would make sense. I'm curious about the stage production, but I get the feeling it's going to be terrible. I don't know why. Whatever.
Anywho, so yeah, that's
character meets are really good because these are not common. I mean, the 3-year-old pigs are like, yeah, that's
yeah, 3-year-old pigs you don't really see much. You
No.
also have Pluto just kind of roaming around the Plaza Garden Grill, like in his Lunar New Year variant, just kind of like just interacting with folks, like just eating at the tables. I thought that was cute.
Yeah, they really put out a lot of effort into this, not just the decorations and what have you, which are also really well done, but the fact that they take the efforts to make unique character costumes for this event.
And I really like seeing like the characters we always see all the time, like the Fab Five, wear like different variants for different events. Like I was like, oh my god, they're wearing like Lunar New Year variants because it's their year. And then also I like the fact like also in Plaza Gardens they have like a descriptor of like each of the different years that you're born. They were using the Chinese version of the calendar. Because I know in Shanghai Disneyland they have the Friendship Garden, which represents certain Disney characters representing each of the zodiac animals, and some of them like are pretty esoteric. Like I keep forgetting that there was a whatchamacallit,
Paul Bunyan.
Paul Bunyan,
Yeah.
and Babe the Ox represents Year the Ox. And in Lambert the Sheepish Lion, Year the Lamb is represented by that lamb in that short.
Yeah, one I don't think I've ever seen. I've seen at least the Paul Bunyan one. Because they used to play that one and they'd back it right after with Johnny Appleseed on Wonderful World of Disney back in the 80s, because I am that old. And I remember that, because I actually liked the Johnny Appleseed one. I had a fun song. There goes Johnny Appleseed. I can't remember the rest of the words.
So yeah, I always like looking at that board for
I have a list
reference.
of Disney Plus there. I need to go back on Disney Plus and just watch a lot of the old shorts that were like part of my childhood.
And then also in that same area, you also have the area where you can like write like your wish for like the new year. We didn't do that. We did that
I've done that
last
previous
year.
years. Yeah.
But like I thought that was pretty neat that they had something like that there, just a cultural activity that you can participate in.
I feel like I've missed out by not doing a wishing tree this year.
Well, tomorrow's the last day.
Yeah, I'm not going tomorrow.
Yeah, we're just gonna take it easy tomorrow. And also, let's talk about the noms.
So yeah, of course, anyone who's already seen the video, I ate quite a bit, and some of the things were reruns from last year, some of the things were new, so I had to run around and kind of pick and choose my stuff. And the other problem that really comes in for me when it comes to doing reviews, and this is a little bit of behind-the-scenes stuff, folks, this is why you listen, is that living in Southern California, we have access to some really good restaurant options. And anyone who's seen my Rancho del Zocalo videos usually one of the caveats I put in there is this is really good, but it's not going to be better than your local Mexican place that you love. Because there's the local place for me that I love that, like, there's nothing at Rancho del Zocalo that'll even come close. That's a family-run restaurant. that has family recipes that are just mind-blowing, and that's not going to compare to the Disney version.
It's also really interesting watching, because I watch a lot of Disney World vloggers and YouTubers who talk about various international food and World Showcase, and you can clearly tell that they come from a community that doesn't have a pluralistic, diverse, ethnic, cultural food. And then you just kind of have to, because the way I like to measure my food I like to try out, like how does this compare to this culture's food, because I remember when I had the ramen over at Katsura Grill over in World Showcase, I was like, okay, it was all right for a pick-me-up, because I really needed a pick-me-up when I was feeling hungry. Like, okay, I'll just use like one of my quick service dining credits, grab some iced green tea, because I was just wicked thirsty, and I just need something cold to drink, and of course I had the ramen. And I'm like,
which
this
I warned
is
you against.
Right.
Yeah, I warned you.
This is okay. I mean, it's not the best ramen I had. It's more like ramen. Should got the sushi just to get something simple, but like I just needed some comfort food, and I needed something to eat.
Yeah, I mean that, or if you want to go to an example from a couple of years ago when they did Star Wars Night and they had the Dagobah, they spelled it wrong, ramen, where
it looked like the ramen that you grab at Costco and you just add like the hot water into that bowl and you just call it a day. And the price for that was like around $14. And you and I, we just came back from our favorite ramen place, and between the two of us, with added toppings and all, I think it came around about, because we also ordered extra noodles too. It also came around to that same price, but we got more for our money. And it was something delicious. I don't know. I just expect more out of Disney chefs, because you have access to like all these like top chefs from like around the world. Because I know they're very picky about who they hire
I'll agree
in their
with
kitchen.
That, but
I just kind of have like these. I know. I just tend to have high expectations. I don't know if it's a result of living in a very pluralistic kind of environment where this is all accessible, and I know what good tastes like, so maybe my bar is a little bit too high. I don't know.
It's definitely for me where there's certain foods that if I hear Disney's doing that for something, I'm like, I'm not having that, and I would never have had that Dagobah ramen anyways, just because I'm like, there's no way they're going to do this right. And I have local places that I love, and there's not so local places like Little Tokyo that have ramen places that I love, and it's not going to even come close. Oh, it'll be some sort of noodle soup for sure, but there's a difference between noodle soup and properly done ramen, especially when it's done by like family recipe that's existed for, however many decades, versus say, hey, our non-Japanese chef came up with his own ramen recipe, enjoy. And it's like, I don't know. Sometimes the chefs make fumbles. I recently reviewed one of their fumbles at Galaxy's Edge. And
it was a fumble that made you sick.
It made me sick, yeah. I need to report that to Town Hall next time I go to the park. Just to warn them about, for other people, not out of a... This isn't a anger thing, it's more of a whole safety issue, is the way I look at that. It's the first time I've ever had anything at the park that made me go, oh god, I need to go home. And so there's certain foods that I'm like, yeah, they just don't do it right, or I feel that this is going to be a chef not really capturing what is the essence of that food. And ramen fills that category. And technically, it's kind of my feeling in general when they do Asian type food. They tend to do fusion, which I do not really enjoy.
Get into that, because I like it when companies like Disney like to share culture, again, like, yeah, with the procession and the teaching, the educational aspect of Lunar New Year. But when you make something and add fusion into it that is totally unrelated to the culture, it no longer is the thing that it originally was. Yeah. And that's what just gets me sometimes, because I had a hard time just kind of deciding what I wanted out of the menu, out of the kiosk. I end up just ordering just cocktails like the whole time. It's like, yeah, you can't go wrong with that. And I think for my major part of the meal, I just ordered the Korean barbecue, the Korean let me just get the appropriate name for it. Because when I think of Korean barbecue, I think like just going to those Korean to like Yukaku or one of them places where you can grill your own meat. Yeah, the Korean grilled chicken. I ended up ordering that over at the
that was
the Paradise Garden Grill.
Garden Grill, yeah. Yeah, it's where I had that meh sandwich.
The banh mi.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
Mm-hmm.
But those like wings I had, the firecracker wings were great because it was just, Asian style hot sauce wings, and I love Asian style hot sauce wings. But some of the things on the menus were just left me scratching my head, going like, I'm too afraid. There's a phrase I've heard a few people use that I'm not going to use. Their not safe for work version, but it's essentially the chef likes to spit on the food, I guess is a appropriate version of it, which means, oh, here's this recipe, and instead of doing the best version of this recipe, I will add my own twist on it to make it my version, and you're spitting on what was normally a good recipe.
And I feel like that it's really not necessary to like just I know like Disney like okay it's a twist on tradition, but like just keep the food as it is originally meant to be enjoyed.
Because it's Lunar New Year, we should be celebrating those cultures and having the food of those cultures. Last year, I think it was last year, maybe it was 2 years ago, one of the booths had some Vietnamese food, and one of the things like, or was that for Christmas?
It was for Lunar New Year. Are you talking about the thing that was wrapped in like banana leaves?
In like banana leaves. That thing was so good. It was like this egg.
It's like this rice cake type thing.
Rice cake thing, but it had some like egg and a little bit of meat in there. It was so good. And I'm like, and I talked to an actual Vietnamese person, but I'm like, oh yeah, my mom would always pick those up every, da-da-da-da. And I was like, okay, cool. I had an authentic thing. I enjoyed the hell out of it. And I want more of that. I want that authentic stuff that's not the stuff I normally get. When I see a shrimp fried rice, I'm like, I'm not going to get your shrimp fried rice because I have a local place I know that does amazing shrimp fried rice, and yours isn't going to compare, and that's unfair for the review for me to go, yeah, that's shrimp fried rice, not as good as my local place, but I mean, you'll enjoy it, I guess. Like, that's not going to make a good review, and that's not going to make anyone happy. Some of the cocktails looked good. I only took hits off of your drinks. I was not drinking that day because I had, a video to make. So I was...
It's funny, like, if you like do a video, like, where you drink your way throughout World Showcase.
If I'm going to do a drinking type video, it will be a drinking type video. Like,
Donate to our Ko-Fi, folks.
Yeah, just
donate to our Ko-Fi. We will make it happen. Jay DeGreek drinks his way around World Showcase.
Yeah, I'm...
and goes on Mission Space afterwards.
Disney booze is expensive. I can handle that drunk. If I can get buzzed and go on a Silver Bullet over at Knott's, I can handle Mission Space drunk. Now, am I going to hit the buttons properly? Probably not. Are we going to crash horribly? Probably.
It will override. I found out, like, if you don't push the buttons, it'll be a system override.
Okay. I'm sure the video probably has some sort of little thing, but I assume there's no way to kill the party. That would be really, really horrible. And everyone would hate you. But what I guess I'm trying to say is I think I've only reviewed booze a couple of times. Mostly at
Sunshine Day Bar.
Sunshine Day Bar was
over
great.
at Hollywood Studios. I love that place.
You can tell that moonshine was hitting me by the time if you listen to that video, folks. And then I think I've covered one or two of the drinks over at Lamplight. And I love Lamplight.
I like Lamplight when it's not breakfast.
Yeah, the breakfast options. Well, I love that breakfast burger. I'm the only one who ordered correctly. Everyone else ordered bad.
Because I think we're in the mindset like, yeah, they're gonna have like the usual lunch items. It was already 2:00. Oh, we're still serving brunch. Like,
yeah, and their brunch menu is not impressive, especially when you're going there in your stomach going like, oh, I'm gonna eat the heck out of some lobster nachos. Oh,
because
okay.
I was in the mindset like I want to go for my loaded baked potatoes. Like, they don't have it.
Yeah, the whole party was like, yeah, I want this, yeah, and I want this, and I want this. Here's our brunch menus. Oh. And then I had the breakfast burger, which was great, but everyone else was really not happy with their meals.
Yeah, I wasn't happy, but I did like the cinnamon toast crunch boozy drink.
Yeah, you had that. I had a beer mosa, which was... I could actually make one of those. And once I tasted it, I'm like, I can make this. which is one of my favorite things to do. I've remade Disney recipes a couple of times at home. My favorite being the Thunder Pop. If I can get a hold of more of that red cream soda, I could actually make more Thunder Pops.
Yeah, you tried the black sesame mochi donut.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
After that, I just want to just go to the nearest Mitsu and just get real mochi.
It's because I had to do one out of like just
Curiosity.
Yeah, and I'm like, look, because mochi itself is technically just compressed rice, and there's different ways of turning it into stuff. I'm still curious about what mochi soup is. That's still on my list of things to try in real life. But I was like, okay, compressed rice as a donut base could be interesting. Those black sesames ruined it for me. That is, ugh.
Yeah, it's like, what is this mess?
And
What is this madness?
Again, it's that fusion thing of you took something that could have been great, mochi, and then decided to spit on it. And you turned it into a mochi donut in and of itself is not sounding like a bad idea. You get the sweet compressed rice, you add a little glaze on it, you'd have perfect. Then you add on your stupid little crunchy things on there, not sprinkles, stupid crunchy seeds that taste terrible and ruined the entire meal. It had a weird sourness to it, and sourness might not be the right word, but bitterness? Bitter might be the right word. Mm-hmm. And then I just like, no, why did you ruin this? This isn't a bad idea, but you fumble so horribly at the goal line, and why would you do that? And that's kind of my thing. Like, as much as I want to go and say, hey, there's some great stuff at Lunar New Year, and there is, I don't know if I entirely recommend the menu this year. It just had too much fusion garbage that just didn't turn out great. And you can only say so much of like, oh, firecracker wings and plum wine or whatever you were drinking. And that's great and all, but that's not really a reason to go to the food festival section when, especially when, say, hypothetically, there was another Disney park on the East Coast that was doing a food and wine festival that looks freaking amazing.
Oh, the Arts Festival?
Yeah, hypothetically, if that was actually happening right now. Folks, it's totally happening right now. That's the joke. But it's one of those things where I've seen that list lineup, and that list lineup looks really good, and then I'm looking at like what we have for Lunar New Year, and it's all fusion-y stuff, and only a handful of things that I enjoyed, and our party in general wasn't super happy with all our choices, and that's not good. It should.
And I shouldn't have to...
I've raved about how good it was.
And I shouldn't have to, like, default to, like, okay, I'm going to go for the safe bet and just go with the Korean grilled chicken, which was a good plate in itself. Like, I'm not going to complain about chicken and rice, but, again, I can have, like, Korean grilled chicken and rice anytime I want, but I wanted to just try, like, I want to have a flavor adventure, but a flavor adventure in a way that's authentic.
Yeah. And this is the same people who gave us pineapple lumpia, and it's just. And
they finally decided to add in true lumpia to the menu.
Oh, it only took them a couple of years.
Yeah, you'll get a meaty lumpia, and you'll have that on Adventureland Day, and you'll review it.
Every Filipino person I know, was told. Well, I know more than just you. I know your 800 cousins, or no, excuse me, 260. Oh God, what's this?
You know a lot of my cousins.
Okay. Sorry, it's always a Stitch joke because there's a Stitch little side story thing where he goes and tries to make friends with his 600 and some cousins, and then that's always my joke with you, is that you and your 600 some cousins. So, it's one of those things where every Filipino person I've talked to, I've told them what it is, and they go, "That is disgusting. Why would you make that?" And I'm like, "I know." It's like, "Are you going to review it?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to put myself through that. It doesn't feel like this is going to be good for me."
Even though you got a lot of requests to review it.
I know, because everyone wants to know how bad it is, and
you don't want to take that risk.
I don't want to take that risk. I would do it if I had like a friend who was white trash enough to enjoy that, so that if I took a bite and I go, "Yep, that's the review, people." I don't want to throw away the other half of everything. Mm-hmm. But if I could hand it to Joe the garbage truck, who's like, "Oh, I'll just eat anything, bro," and just "Nup, nup, nup. That was delish, man." I'm like, "Of course it was, because you're disgusting." Then that would be fine. Like, I would do that, but I hate the idea. Hell, with the drink that made me sick, I drank 90% of that drink. Because I couldn't not do that. We can't pay that much for a drink, or that much for bad lumpia, and not eat it, because my brain doesn't work that way, and I hate being an ugly American who goes, "Ew, I don't like this. Throw in the trash." And we have done that before. We did that with that weird Clamato beer mix thing that you ended up ordering that one time.
Yeah, mistakes were made.
We tossed that after getting about halfway through that, because I think that's as far as either of us could stomach, and no one else in the group was going to take that on. Actually, we didn't have a group that day.
No, it was just you and me, because it's always you and me. Ride or die.
Ride or die. And so it's one of those things where if I had the garbage stomach friend, I would be fine with this. And I don't, and I need that person in the crew. I need the person to do the bad things where I'm like, here, swallow this because I know you can, and therefore money didn't go to waste. Now, if I had some sort of magical, card I could just swipe by and it's like, you get free food because you exist, then I'll eat the terrible stuff. Or if I got enough money in the Ko-Fi, fine, but it still really bothers me on like a spiritual level. I hate throwing away food. It really bothers me. The joys of like the way I grew up. But yeah, overall, like, I think if you're going to do the Lunar New Year stuff at California Adventure, go watch the pageant, go meet a few characters, grab some merch. If you want to, buy one mundane food item at the thing. But I would honestly think there's so many better restaurants in DCA. It's very difficult for me to say choose that over, Flo's, choose that over Cozy Cone, choose that over oh god, what's the burger place? The one right by Soren.
Smoke Jumper's Grill.
Smoke Jumper's Grill. There's so many better choices like that. That I can't really wholly recommend doing that. But all the other stuff is really fun. It is well themed. It is very respectful as far as I understand. Not being an Asian American, I can only assume it's respectful. It feels respectful to me. And yeah, I mean, I'd rather just go to that like hot dog. I'd rather just go to Angry Dogs and grab myself an Angry Dog. Because at least then I have a spicy hot dog, and that's at least something. Or go over to Award Wieners and just get a hot dog of too many ingredients on top of it. I have other options in DCA that I would much rather do that I could also review, although I already have reviewed Angry Dogs. But you know what I'm trying to say here is that for review sake, I have to do this, but there's not enough for me to suggest it, and I'm more disappointed not in the fact that I think the lineup is bad, but more the fact that I remember previous year's lineups being mind-blowing. Being so good and having authentic style food. And then this year was weird fusion-y stuff and experimental foods that aren't, culturally tradition, type things you would have. And that's where my disappointment and my anger is coming from. Just to clarify this. It'd be like Festival of Holidays. Festival of Holidays last year was a lot of rerun from the year before, which I don't even think we did. Did we do a video for that?
We didn't have time to do Festival of Holidays last year.
But there was so few things I really could have done. Otherwise, it'd just be rerun stuff. So even getting the badge pass thing, which I generally do recommend for these food festival type things, go for the badge pass. But this is one where I don't recommend that. Just grab some firecracker chicken, go over to Schmoozies, and you'll be good. I don't see the point of getting the pass. But like for Festival of Holidays, a lot of it was rerun stuff, so it wasn't really being upset on my part. It was more of okay, now I need to figure out how to math this to make a video. And as it turned out, holidays were so freaking crazy and busy that just didn't happen, and I feel like it's no loss. It's not me sitting there like, oh, if only we had done the Festival of... It's a lot of reruns. I think we talked about that. I think we did some reposts on Instagram and whatever about some of the things that were there again. So, it's just kind of how it is sometimes. But I'm hoping that next year we're back to a more traditional menu. That's all I want. Just a traditional menu. Even if it's stuff that I know a local restaurant where I can get that, there's going to be one or two things I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. Or, oh, I haven't had one of those in forever.
I agree with you, and as an Asian American, I want to see like more authentic, like Asian flavor and less of this fusion stuff, because when you start putting the fusion stuff in, you start to lose authenticity and what originally how it was meant to be enjoyed. Now, overall, my feelings with Lunar New Year at DCA, I like it. I like the procession. I like the character meet and greets. I like the atmosphere, and I'm glad they're really expanding more on this. But let's also put in some effort and some quality into the food at Lunar New Year, because that's the stuff I'm very excited to always check out.
Yeah.
Because I know you and I last year, we didn't really focus on Lunar New Year a whole lot. I think you and I, we just ended up just grabbing boba and just kind of just hung out in like that general area in the evening.
I know I did a few reviews out of that, but it wasn't really, there wasn't much to do per se.
And plus we had a busy schedule and during that time of year, so we really couldn't go to the parks as much as we wanted to.
We were there with... I thought we went there
This was last year in around February, and we had to end up going on a weekday after work.
Yeah, but I thought we went there twice. I thought they went there once with someone else. I want to say Mary or something, but I don't think it was Mary.
You're probably thinking... No, it was...
Maybe that's Festival of Holidays I'm thinking of.
Probably.
Yeah, so the memories start to blur. I'm sorry, folks. I go to the park a lot. Like, it's going to start blurring a little bit.
Now, I do like the cocktails. I like the Orange Blossom cocktail I got at Plaza Gardens. I'm probably mixing up the Plaza Grill Gardens, whatever it is that place. That's right by Goofy Sky School. I really like the Orange Blossom
the only place that's actually
cocktail.
a consistent location. Mm-hmm. All the other things are pop-ups.
I really like that cocktail. I mean... I feel like when it comes to cocktails, like, you can't really go wrong. But a friend of mine had the mojito, and she didn't like it.
How do you screw up a mojito?
But then again, different people have different tastes, and she's also a lightweight, too.
Well, they don't have depending where you go at Disney, sometimes they have a heavy hand, and sometimes they don't. But, I mean, a mojito is, like, just delicious mint and gin, and unless they've added extra garbage into it.
I don't know, but I really like the Orange Blossom one. That's my favorite if I had to choose a favorite other than the Korean rice and grilled chicken.
Yeah, so I still feel like again, to my mind, I'm like, that's just not a huge enough reason to get the placard with the...
You can't have alcohol with the placard anyway.
Oh, you can't anyways? Okay, yeah, so it's even less of a reason to have the placard. Like I said, I didn't really have any of the booze. I can't really comment on it too much. I know it showed up in the video, but it's because I had a sip, and I was like, okay, I can review this. And that's not really, and that's not drinking in my book. And I wouldn't have come for the alcohol. I wasn't planning on having any of the alcohol to begin with. Getting kind of a more and more stringent, like, I don't like booze at Disneyland kind of a thing. It's really weird, and I know hypocritical if you look at some of my videos I've done before. But I don't know why. It's like kind of bothers me a little bit. And maybe it's the whole point of Walt not wanting that. That might be like a key thing in there. And I know I'm not a Walt purist per se, but in that case, it does kind of like, this is a family park. Booze shouldn't really be at a family park. But I like the fact that they have they pay homage to the tradition of Napa wines and stuff like that at California Adventure. And Lamplight Lounge just feels like its own thing, so I let that one slide too. So again, I'm not trying to be a hypocrite here. I'm just saying that, like...
Wait till you take you to the AP Lounge Zone where you can order specialized booze just for AP holders.
They really have that?
Yes.
That's a thing?
Yes, that's the thing. We can do that sometime. You can review alcohol at the AP Passel section.
I'll seem like such a jerk for doing that. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. Me and only the elites get to try this. But I guess if you had a pass, you could join us. Yes. This Mickey Brandy Sundae is delicious. It has ice cream and brandy and a Mickey Mouse face on the front. Like,
You get the Instagram selfie?
Yeah, I mean, I'll play it up like that. Like, because I'd have to. I didn't know there was exclusive booze for AP people.
As if we were entitled enough.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like, Disney, you didn't have to do that. But I want to try an AP exclusive booze.
Because I know they occasionally have the exclusive photo stuff. And that was, of course, one of the things last year. I kept saying, oh, they're going to do a Kingdom Hearts exclusive photo thing. And then they waited for Halloween to do that. Timely. That's when the game came out. It was January, which is exactly when Halloween happens. But the weird pass holder exclusive stuff, I feel could be a episode in and of itself, because they always have weird tchotchkes there, photo things, booze apparently, and sometimes rare character moments, character meet and greets. So sometimes they'll show up there too. So we will need to put that on the docket of things to talk about to make everyone jelly who doesn't have a pass.
So we have a couple upcoming theme park events coming up this month and in the subsequent future. We will be covering Peanut Celebration at Knott's in our next episode, hopefully. And we're also going to talk about just a couple of other things, in-betweeners, such as the Totally Mini special that aired on Wonderful World of Disney back in the 80s, and also a couple of other specials that have appeared on the Disney Plus service that also cover the making and behind the scenes of Disneyland.
Yay, Disney Plus is giving us content.
And other upcoming events that we will be checking out is one of the unofficial Treasure Gossip Days, and that is Adventureland Day in early March.
That's always an adventure.
Yeah, an adventure through high school.
Yeah.
We didn't have the best experience last year. Oh, yeah. Trader Sam's felt like flashbacks to the high school cafeteria and the whole, like, you can't sit with us kind of vibe.
Yeah, last year was not a pleasant experience. We're hoping for better this year.
It was to the point where, like, you know what, I'm going to have some booze, I'm going to book us a flight to Boston.
Although, I will say this.
That happened.
Last year was the year where you dropped your hat, and then they saved your hat.
I do remember that, and I do commend, like, all the cast members helping out at the Jungle Cruise.
Well, we may not have had the best experience with Adventureland people...
cast members.
It's just the guests. We didn't have a lot of fun with Adventureland guests. They definitely had some issues and some elitism going down. But the cast members were all super nice and friendly. And I believe, like usual, you get a slightly different... they play things up a little bit differently on the Jungle Cruise because they can recognize everyone who's there for Adventureland Day and knows, like, yo, you've been on Jungle Cruise 8 trillion times. Let me spice this up. And I do very much appreciate that.
I am looking forward to that aspect of it. And also next month we are in the process of booking reservations for the Cinderella Tea Party over at Steakhouse 55.
Oh, God. I'm going to need to, like, sell a kidney.
Not really. It just costs $55, and plus we have the AP discount, too.
Oh.
And some cast members will be joining us for that.
Okay. I forgot what I was going to say. I'm sorry.
Yeah, let's wrap up the show.
We should wrap up the show. Yes, if I've forgotten what to say, and that's clearly the point that we wrap up the show. Thank you for listening. If you haven't liked and subscribed already, please like and subscribe. And if you have subscribed, check to make sure you're still subscribed, because YouTube gets weird and unsubscribes people. I've heard these stories. I've never heard anyone who's actually said they've been unsubscribed from something, but all the other YouTubers say they hear that all the time, so it must be true. In addition, share this around. Let people know you love Eat the Magic, whether it's the food videos, the podcast, or anything else. And until next time, remember, eat the magic.